Alright everyone, today we are going to dive into some fun stuff. We're not going to do a review on these guys, but we are going to talk about something that they utilize a lot, and that is just various fashion tints to have a little bit cooler look on the glasses. Can you combine this with an anti-reflective coating or not? Does it work? What are the advantages, disadvantages? Who knows? Well, fortunately for you, I do, and we are going to dive into that today and see how it works. And just real quick before we get started here, if you're new to the channel, definitely like below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you can follow and stay up to the latest and coolest stuff on the channel. We do a lot of reviews like this, talk about lens technology, and just have a good time. So follow and support the channel. Yeah, so me without glasses, this is a weird side, right? But this is going to be kind of the easier way to show this off. And I'm going to try not to bounce the camera around too much, but I did do these with closed temples, and that is a terrible idea. But one that I like, and this kind of shows the difference pretty well between just a normal kind of an indoor category 1 fashion tint and one's a little bit darker. You can still wear this indoors. I mean, I can see fine aside from the weird pink and blue effect in each eye, but these both do have... Oh, nope, I'm wrong. Okay, I'll pull a different lens for that. So these do not have any sort of anti-reflective coating on them. And with fashion tints, you'll find more often than not that's the case because you have to prep the lenses for the anti-reflective coating, and a lot of times that'll bleach out and remove some of the tints. Now I do, especially the soft blue tints, are really comfortable to wear indoors. It makes a nice effect and a look on the glasses, and plus in a gold frame, it just looks pretty. Of course, so does that pink and black, but anyways. Now, let's dive into and see some of the different options you can actually do this with. So this is kind of a ready-made kit I have of a few different tint samples. These are just to show off, give a little bit of an idea of what can be done. Now, realistically, there are tons and tons of different base colors. You can combine them with double gradients like we talked about with the purple and pink or gray and pink or whatever you want to call that up there. You've got just the basic kind of a soft blue. And I wanted to pull these frames to kind of show you how it actually looks once it's in a frame versus just out on the board. And this pistachio is going to be a great example because you can see here, very, very similar. This is actually, I believe with AKK, they call this their blush ice tint, whereas Zeiss calls it their pistachio. And you'll see it's kind of that same colorway. They have tweaked it a little bit, obviously a little bit darker. Overall, kind of in that same category there. Now, one reason these may appear a little bit darker is, as I mentioned, with the anti-reflective coating on the back, it does have to be tinted darker to start with. So these in particular probably started as a full category 2 lens, and then once prepped and done and completed for AR, then we got this nice, really about a 1.5 for that finished gradient tint. This guy is just a nice medium blue. I'm not sure I even have a sample here that goes with that. Yeah, I do not. But one I also like to play with, and I'll show you here kind of how this works. As I mentioned, there's tons of options to start with, but you can mix and match a little bit here. So then you do like this, you stack that smaller there, just that pistachio green over the brown base. You get something a little bit different. It adds just a nice olive touch to that lighter side. In this case, that one's a little bit dark for really doing that well, but you know, you have to play with what you've got, and that's what I've got on hand here right now. So as far as the anti-reflective coatings, you can do that on both sides. Obviously, that's going to lighten the tint just a little bit more because you're going to make the front pass light through a little bit better. In the case here, that was just to get that little bit of a reflectance on the front to add something a little bit more flashy to it. This is the one that's in my black and gold Porsche, so it adds just a nice cosmetic effect on there. Makes it pop a little bit more. for me, I think that was a really nice choice, just to up the ante a little bit in what already was kind of a classy, nice frame to begin with. And especially in the darker tints, you'll want to try and do the anti-reflective coating versus in the lighter stuff like this. You can get by without it, and especially if you want something this light, it's going to be really hard to do that with an anti-reflective coating and really get the desired result. So the short answer is yes, you can do anti-reflective coatings on beautifully tinted lenses. Is it always ideal or recommended? Not really. This one here, this is a fun one. So they call it cinnamon, but it's kind of a rosy brown rather than just what you would think of as a typical brown. And well, the camera never cooperates on these things. You can see there a little bit. It's just a very, very minor difference cosmetically. And in fact, let's use this green, that pistachio I was bragging about earlier. As far as looking out, you can see it's very minimal difference, but it does make a nice visual impact to the frames when worn. Now let's see how that looks when it's darkened up just a little bit. Yes, you get to see that on me, whether you want to or not. Now, after I said that, I realized you could just easily click away from this video and not watch it, and you did not have to see this, but you can see, as I mentioned, you know, cosmetically looking out, it does not make a huge difference. On the face, of course, it does make a nice visual impact, especially with a frame like this where you've got the stones in it, that nice soft gold. I think the designer really knocked out of the park this tint choice for this frame, and you know, often she does. That's why a lot of the ones I have are the fashion tint models. Now, I think that is about all I can handle without showing you every single color in every possible combination and driving you absolutely bonkers. But if you liked this video, definitely stop and subscribe and like and leave some feedback on whether this helped you or not, or whether you thought I was just a complete psychopath this entire time. You probably think that anyways. I will catch you guys next time.